Lai Chuan had the question. Was it from Lai Chuan?
Yes.
So I the later part of the 8 precepts, right? So I only addressed the front part, which is that the first few precepts are about harming others, right? Yeah, you asked about 6, 7, 8. Yeah. So did you manage to find the videos in the YouTube channel?
Yeah, Hui Wen share the video to me.
Yeah. Why do you share to him? Ask him to go and find, then you'll go and share. Then you deprive him of the chance to find. It's like imagine now you're in school, right? Then the teacher says, okay, go and do this homework. Then someone go and share the answer to everybody. That is the answer. In any case, we even do it out of kindness. So you must be careful when you are kind. 不要好心做坏事啊。Yeah, so for the rest who may have the similar question, so the gist of it is the Buddha described the 8 precepts as the way that enlightened beings would live their life. So if you consider 6, 7, 8, they would quite naturally eat in moderation. Yeah, they will only eat what is sufficient, and once a meal would suffice. Yeah, and it's taken in the middle of the day to sustain the body throughout. They wouldn't eat beyond what is needed. Then if you consider number 7 is actually 2 parts. 不着相或慢，相由土生，不垢苍基，故安观听. So the first part is about adornment, yeah, adornment of oneself. So they have removed greed, hatred, delusion. Yeah. So there's no more attachment to the body, no more attachment, no more wrong view of itself. Yeah, they don't identify with the body itself. So then there's no impetus, no desire to impress people in this way or that way. Yeah. Hence, no need to adorn oneself. The second part of number 7 is perhaps most interesting. I used to have this question mark also, like, so, but entertainment doesn't harm anybody. So it is that the restlessness is removed. They are at ease, they are at peace with themselves, with the present moment. Yeah. We seek entertainment because we are bored. We seek entertainment because we don't like not having stimulus. We seek entertainment because we want to feel something. They don't have that desire for anything extra. They're okay with the present moment. So enlightened beings don't seek entertainment because of that. Not because it's by nature, whatever. Yeah. And lastly, number 8 is similar to the first part of number 7. So they don't pump themselves up with high chair, high beds, luxurious living. Yeah, they live a life of simplicity, just what is enough. Yeah. So then the question is, how about us? We are not enlightened yet. What? So we take up the 8 precepts to emulate the lifestyle of the enlightened ones. Yeah. while we are not enlightened, we try to live the way they live, yeah, to go as close as possible and then move in that general direction, move in that direction. So that's the way the purpose of the 8 precepts is meant to be. Should be more or less, is it the same as what you have seen? Lai Chan?
Can I ask like some of the details about it?
Okay.
Like for example, 6th precept is after 1 p.m. ish, right? In the video I heard you say about it.
Yes.
Then like can we still drink like fruit juice or coconut water? Like yeah.
So first thing, to clarify the rest, most people would have heard 过午不食, right? Or 不非时食. So most people think of it as 12 p.m. 12 p.m. So I mentioned about around 1 p.m. because in Singapore the solar noon is around 1, 12:45 to 1. Then, and I also would have mentioned about how following the solar noon can also cause some issue, because in the Nordic countries, in the northern part and the southern part of Earth, the sun does something very strange. For half a year, it doesn't quite rise. For half a year, it doesn't quite set. So if you really follow the solar noon, then for half a year you can eat the whole day, half a year you cannot eat anything, which then doesn't make sense, right? But if you follow strictly like the timing, then sometimes can be a problem also, because if you are taking a plane going in one direction, then you can eat the whole flight. If you take in the other direction, you whole day cannot eat. So then if you go down to the reasonings for this precept, then it makes more sense that it's about eating in moderation, which is the advice that the Buddha gave. 与食质量, with respect to food, to know your amount, that you should be eating. So then, can you drink fruit juice, etc.? In the Buddha's time, the precept was originally set simply to abstain from food. So as a result, the monks basically just observe it that way. Then at some point, some monks fell sick, and they were not recovering well. So the Dr. Jivaka, he examined them, then told them that they need to take some nourishment. Otherwise, they are not recovering. So then the monk said, but the Buddha has already set down the rule that we should abstain from taking food at improper times. And the timing that you ask us to eat, which is basically dinner or afternoon, is within the improper time, so we cannot take. And because of that, they don't recover. So the doctor went to see the Buddha, asked the Buddha, out of compassion, that there are these monks who, due to medical conditions, they need nutriment. So the Buddha allowed them to take fruit juice, but it's not like immediately just mango juice or durian juice. But it is that the juice is strained. So after juicing it, then it is further strained, so that you just drink the liquid, so no pulp. So by drinking that, some of them recovered. Then the doctor observed and then told the Buddha again, there are those who still has not recovered. That means they need even more nutriment. So gradually, the Buddha allowed more and more, and so the general angle for this allowance, this is known as the medical allowance. So under medical condition, you are allowed to take nutriment, but usually people will just say, okay, then I can take dinner. But actually, it's not meant to be that way. Yeah, it's supposed to be taken gradually. Yeah, or according to your severity, then you take that certain amount. Yeah, not straight away go and eat biscuit. Not supposed to. Yeah. So under normal conditions, without medical, we typically take juices without the pulp. Yeah, no issue. Yeah, no issue. If you go to various forest monasteries, whether in Myanmar, Thailand, and so on, they do offer the juices. Oh, yeah. Where's Lai Chuan? Oh, okay. Yeah. So coconut drink without the flesh shouldn't be an issue. Yeah. So if you go to Chinese monastery, right, Zen monastery, the meditation hall in China, I was told, I haven't visited one, but I was told that they actually offer snacks throughout the whole day, 24/7. Yeah, yeah, throughout the whole day, you just request for it. Someone will push a cart. Yeah, so then seems to be contravene to the precept, right? Yeah. So the reasoning I was told is that because back in the days, they actually do physical work as well. Yeah, they have to because Buddhism in China went through a lot of different phases. Yeah, so at some point they actually have to work the field, yeah, to sustain themselves. So if you were to work the field, then in the evening, how do you meditate? You can't meditate. But of course, today, I think most monasteries don't do that anyway. Don't work the field. Then why is this practice still there? It is so that if they should need any sustenance, yeah, they don't have to wait until the timing. Yeah. And the important thing is to enter such a hall, the stipulation is quite stringent. Yeah. So I was told that if you want to 进禅堂, yeah, if you want to start practicing in the meditation hall, you'll be greeted by the 知客 or 招客, and then they will invite you to sit at the guest hall or guest room, and then they will light the candle, an incense. The incense will last for 1.5 hours. Then he will also sit. He will not talk to you. He just asks you to sit, and then he will sit. And after 1.5 hours, if you are still there and you didn't move, then you'll be invited to assign a room and then invited into the hall. So if you cannot, you quickly, before the thing is over, you also and then run over. Yeah. And so those who actually enter the meditation hall are those who can meditate and are serious about meditation. And if you meditate up to a certain point, you don't really have much interest in food anyway. A lot of people don't have much interest in food, but they may not be interested in meditation. And if you have nothing else to do, either eat or meditate, those who don't like to meditate will find themselves eating. Yeah. Yeah, but if you just keep on eating then you are there for the wrong reason. Yeah, this is what I heard. But as far as your question, the further question you have, that's that. But if you go to Thai Forest Monastery, you don't be surprised. They don't just offer you the drinks. They even offer you the candies. Yeah, coconut candy, not just coconut drink. Coconut candy. I visited one. They offered cheese some more. Yeah, chocolate, cheese. So the first day when it was time for afternoon tea, they even have a actual afternoon tea. And then everybody went to the hall and sit down. Then at that point in time, I was still a novice. But there was this funny idea, oh, from the Mahana tradition, I must do my Mahana tradition proud. So I sit very still. Then the two abbot, they were talking to some devotees who came to do the offering. Then they passed a tray. The tray had coffee, tea, all the different snacks. Then passed around, passed around. Then when it reached me, I didn't know. Then the monk before me tapped. Then I look at, wow, what's the occasion? Yeah, so then later I learned that it was because in the Vinaya, there is something called the Qi Yao, yeah, the 7-day medicine. So under the 7-day medicine, there are 5 items that we are allowed to keep up to 7 days. And the Buddha allowed us to consume that anytime. Yeah, according to the text. Yeah. So the Su, Sen Su, Mi, Yu, Tang, these 5 things. Yeah. So this Su, Sen Su, Mi, Yu, Tang, the last 3 is quite straightforward. So Mi, honey, Yu, oil, then Tang. Tang is actually not sugar, not the white sugar we think of. Some consider it to be molasses. Yeah. So I think molasses is the what is it made of? Yeah, but basically it's molasses. Yeah, in some traditions they consider it to be the sugarcane sugar. Yeah, the raw one. So then su and sen su. So su, sen su. Su is usually considered the ghee. Yeah. Then sen su is buttermilk. So these two, then some interpret as including ice cream. Then some interpret to include margarine, and then some include the what you call it, the yogurt. Yeah, and then cheese. That's how all these things come about. Yeah, and then the chocolate part, chocolate and the coffee part, if I don't recall wrongly, has to do with that they interpret one of the nuts as the coconut falling under this category. Then so chocolate also come into the picture. Yeah, so my encounter in that monastery was quite funny because I was on my way to Taiwan for higher ordination. So I decided to go a bit earlier and visit this Thai forest monastery and stay there for about, I think, a week or so. So I called them up and they were like, yeah, you're welcome to come and join us. But ours is a Thai forest monastery. Then I told them, because I told them that I'm from Chinese Mahayana. So the person who answered my call, he was a bit concerned whether I'd be used to it. This is all in US. And then he was like, we wake up early in the morning to meditate. And I'm like, what time? Then they said 4:30. So I said, oh, we wake up at 3:30. We start at 4. I said, oh, okay. And then they told me, we have our meals, we only have 2 meals, breakfast and then light breakfast and then lunch. I said, yeah, same. We also don't have we also don't take dinner. Then after that, they said, we use arms bow. I'm like, yeah, we also use arms bow. So the monk was getting quite confused. Ah, because the impression of Mahayana is quite different from, you know. Yeah. So my surprise when I went there, they even have tea every day. We don't even have tea. So I'm telling you this so that if you, well, when the pandemic is over and you all do get to visit different centers, don't go in with a preconceived idea of how it should be, how it shouldn't be, or something. So in most monasteries, if you were to go there for a retreat or something, even if they offer you food during the dinner time period, if you don't take, nobody is going to kill you. Yeah, at most they give you a dirty look. No. If you are not monastic, nobody will give you dirty look. Yeah. Important thing is do your own practice. Yeah, do your practice. But as far as the meditation technique is concerned, 8 precepts. If you go to a center, it's never just to observe 8 precepts. It's to join the retreat. So if you go for a retreat, right, the best way to benefit from the retreat is to put aside whatever preconception you have about the practice. Yeah, whatever technique that the instructor, the venerable teach, you just do accordingly. Yeah. The 20-year-old me, 20-plus-year-old me would frown at this very statement. Would be like, are you out of your mind? Are you drunk? But I'll tell you this. After all these years, I always remember when I was in Myanmar, there was this senior monk from Malaysia. I think Kai, what's his name? Anyway, he's from the Chinese Mahayana tradition. He was there doing joining in the retreat also. So every few days, I will go and consult him. Yeah, during the rest period, I'll go and consult him about how come the practices here is like this, like that, like this, like that. And then one day he told me, he said, you want to come here for the retreat, right? My advice to you, put aside everything you have learned. Yeah, I know you have learned a lot of different all the techniques, but when you come here, just follow the technique. Yeah, you follow the technique, you try it out. After the retreat, you have all the time you want to go and do comparison. The same goes if you go for Dhamma talk, you go for Dhamma class. Yeah, you're there to learn or to assess the teacher. You must always ask yourself, have you been formally instructed to do assessment? Go there to take, what does his teacher say? Like that, is it correct? Don't do that. This is different from when you hear certain teachings and you have doubts, you have questions. This is different, okay? Yeah. So if you because like some students ask me, is it okay to attend this place? And I say, yeah, no problem. It's okay. Yeah, the lineage I was trained in, we don't restrict people from learning from different teachers. Yeah, as long as it's under the Buddhist tradition. Okay. Yeah, so then you can benefit. Oh. Lai Chuan, any more questions about food?
No.
Okay.
But I have a question for the 8th precept. I'll leave it tomorrow, I think.
You have question for the 8th precept. What other questions for the 8 precepts?
The number 8 one. Because in the video I see you say
but wait, before that, just now I asked you a question you didn't answer.
What question?
My explanation, is it more or less the same as what you have seen in the video?
Yeah.
You never answer that. You just go straight to the question. Must always answer questions, okay?
Okay.
Yeah, just as you ask, I answer, you must. If I ask you a question, you must answer.
Okay.
So what is the question you have about number 8?
Is it like must we sleep on the floor, or is the normal bed is okay for the precept?
So actually in the Vinaya, we are allowed to have beds. Yeah, but the stipulation for the bed is such that it is actually a low bed. Yeah. So again, different monasteries have different ways of implementing it. In most monasteries that I've been to, they just get a simple single bed. Yeah. That means that the bed frame, it's okay to actually have a bed frame, because in the Vinaya, actually there is description of having a bed. Yeah. Of course, the bed last time is probably different from the bed now. In the past, it's probably some pieces of wood or whatever, then a plank over it. Yeah. But from the different centers I've been to, the stricter one that follow down to the letter, then talk about how it must be how many inches high. And the reason for that stipulation is so that you can put an alms bowl inside, yeah, below the bed. Yeah. So it cannot be too low that your alms bowl cannot fit in. It cannot be so high that there's clearance beyond the alms bowl. Yeah. So in general rule is, so the bed itself shouldn't have ornaments dragon phoenix shouldn't have a parasol. Most Singaporeans don't have bed with parasol. That means the covering. Yeah. But in some countries you have that for mosquito net. So if it's functional, then it's actually allowed. Yeah. If you live in a temperate country, you need to have multiple layers of bedding to protect you from the cold. Yeah, especially if you don't have heating. But in Singapore, actually, there's no reason why we use comforter. Yeah, we turn on the aircon, then we cover ourselves with comforter, cover this layer, that layer. Yeah, so that definitely violates the number 8. Yeah. Oh. So typically we sleep without the mattress. So if you want, you can remove the mattress, sleep on the bed frame itself. But some bed frame itself is soft already, so, and it's quite high. Yeah. But instead of getting caught up with that, ask yourself, is there any issue with you sleeping on the floor? Because in most of the retreats, if they're elderlies and it's a day retreat, that means they go back home to sleep, we actually advise elderlies, just sleep on your bed. Yeah. Those who are like 60 and above, we will tell them it's okay, just sleep on the bed. Why? Because you ask them to sit on the floor, the next day they cannot stand up. Yeah. The aim of the precept is not to make people's life difficult. Yeah. This is not about, wow, 修苦行. Don't have the wrong mindset. Yeah. Buddhist practices is not about going through hardship. Yeah. In the Buddha's time, there were ascetics who physically, what do you call that, mortify themselves, self-mortification. That means put themselves through physical hardship. They have the belief that as they experience pain and difficulties and suffering, then they purify themselves. Today, some Buddhists somehow have this idea also. I think it has to do with our culture. Yeah, Chinese have the culture, 吃了苦中苦，方为人上人. Yeah, I mean there's actually many layers into it. I won't go into it today. Yeah, but if as a result, I don't say that Chinese all think in this way. If we then think, oh, our practice should be difficult, yeah, should be painful, yeah, then I think we are misinterpreting it. Oh, yeah. So this precept is not about making your life miserable. Yeah. Okay. I have a lot of co-teachers that I didn't know I have. Have you ever seen any sutras where the Buddha talk halfway? Then the one monk say, the rest of you who are not clear, you all can go and refer to the teaching that the Buddha gave last week. No. Anyway, anybody have any other questions? No other questions, huh?